Hey, family, welcome to another episode of the Black Man's Roundtable. I am your host, Rodney Butler, and today we have another special runoff edition of our candidates for Douglas County who won their elections in the primary and either came in first or second place or whatever, and now they are in a runoff. And so had one yesterday, and today we have on District 3, the premier district, the district I love, the district where I live. We have District 3 candidate Martin Raxton in the House, and he is going to talk to us about, some of the concerns and different things that are in District 3, and probably even some of the good stuff in District 3. But either way, most of the questions that we'll be asking Martin today is come from the viewer, you the followers of the Black Man's Roundtable. I threw one in there myself, and so otherwise we're gonna at the end we're gonna let Martin tell you a little bit more about him. It is go time. It is time. It is crunch time. The election is June 18th, and early voting going to start. I'll let Martin tell you all that stuff because the candidates know that stuff like the back of their hands. So I'm gonna let him cover that. Without further ado, Martin, welcome to the Black Man's Roundtable again, sir. And let's remind our followers a little bit about who you are and what you're doing and all that stuff, Martin.
All right. Well, Rodney, it's good to see you. It's good to be here again at the Black Men's Roundtable. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Again, my name is Martin Raxton, 27-year resident of District 3 and property tax paying homeowner resident of District 3. And it's great to be here. It's great to be a part of this process called democracy. And I am a candidate currently on the ballot for County Commissioner District 3. And I would love to absolutely serve the residents and constituents of this great district known as District 3. So thank you for having me. It's great to be here. And just want to give a shout out here. I have a shirt on. And the shirt represents something that's near and dear to me, and that's my fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And I recently celebrated my 40th year as a life member on the fraternity national level and province level. And I just want to give a shout out to Kappa Alpha Psi and all the D9, Divine Nine fraternities and sororities. So again, thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you for that, sir. We appreciate it, and we appreciate all that the fraternities and sororities of the Divine Nine do throughout the country and throughout the world, and especially in our communities. And Kappa Alpha Psi definitely has a huge presence here in Douglas County, and we appreciate all that you guys do. That being said, Martin, we're going to go ahead on and dive right into the topic, because we're not so much doing questions today. They're more about topics and letting you expound on some of the concerns that the people in District 3 has. And the first one, of course, none of these are going to be strange to you at all. The good thing about District 3 is we don't have a whole lot of problems, but what we have here is a whole lot of concerns, and we don't feel that equity is being done over here. So the first one is, of course, the Dollar Generals, the stores. And I'm allow you to talk about that, but there is, I don't see any reason at all to have a dollar store in District 3. And we know, you and I have talked about it, Martin, as we go around the other neighborhoods, in the Metro Atlanta area with some of the comparable disposable income. We don't see these things. So, sir, please talk to the Black Man's Roundtable audience, followers, about this Dollar General situation.
Absolutely. And as you indicated, not only Dollar General, but also car washes, also package stores, also Waffle Houses. And I think not only within District 3, but many of our districts here in Douglas County, they're within walking distance of each other. And oh, by the way, gas stations. And we're propping up a lot of QTs and other gas stations right in that to each other or right across the street. So specifically about District 3, let me be clear. I was the former chairman of the City of Douglasville Planning and Zoning Board. And when certain initiatives and certain variances came across our desk for us to review, we would take in the concerns and voices of the residents. We would ensure that it made sense and that we believe in common sense development and growth in Douglas County. And specifically within District 3, if the infrastructure wasn't there, and if it didn't make common sense to have that particular variance approved, we would deny it. Now, mind you, we were a recommending body, and the final decision was made by the mayor and the city council. However, serving on the county commission, there's also the opportunity to look at things coming in the county, and specifically in District 3 from planning and zoning. So certainly, I'm going to take in the input from the residents. I didn't want to see another Dollar General here. I don't need another Dollar General or some of the other entities that we discussed. And I want to see more upscale, high-end development and growth. Specifically, we have a food desert here in District 3. So I would love to see us, and I want to ensure that under my administration and leadership, that we bring in some nice restaurants, some nice grocery stores such as a Trader Joe or Papa Do's, some of the things that I really like, Houston's, some of Sprouts, Whole Foods, and let's build up and let's show, and we have the economics here, specifically in District 3 as the housing stock that can afford and to maintain these brick and mortars right here in Douglas County. And under my administration, that is something that I want to ensure that we bring forth to the great residents that deserve this here in this great district as well as in the county.
Thank you for that. And what do you think, because you kind of grouped them, my next one, that the followers of the round table want to talk about is the package stores, okay? And so you've kind of already grouped that one in talking about the package stores and the Waffle Houses and those things. Martin, what do you think specifically, has been the holdup with this? Because we talk about, having the disposable income to be able to enjoy these finer things in life, eateries and other kind of places, shopping places and whatever. What has, to your knowledge, been maybe the holdup in these things happening, coming here, or getting these things from, or the leadership as far as keeping these things from actually coming here like they've already come here? What do you think specifically has been the holdup or the barrier for that?
Well, there's a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
One is certainly the leadership. And if we do not have leaders at the table that are experienced in running, making decisions, taking information, understanding the law, and looking at being short-term and long-term and playing the long game, there are certain individuals in certain communities here in Douglas County that want to maintain Douglas County as a small, sleeping hollow.
Yes, sir.
That's not me. I want to see the growth and expansion in common sense terms. And to have that, you need to have a vision. And I have a vision, I have initiatives, and one of the things I always like to do, Rodney, is to leave things better than I found them.
Yes, sir.
And as I mentioned to you earlier, not only do you have to have someone at the table that has that vision, but also has the voice. Someone that's not afraid to speak up and say, no, that doesn't make sense. Let's reevaluate it. One of the things that make me a unique candidate is that I have both a public sector and private sector background. So there are opportunities where partnerships can be formed. And we can look at economic development and economic growth. And where it makes sense to do things that are privatized, we look at that, we discuss that, and we bring people to the table, we bring leaders to the table and say, this is where we like to see our community to grow. And this is the common sense development and input that we've taken in from our residents. Our residents do not want to have any more car washes, package stores, Waffle Houses, Dollar Generals. But wouldn't it be great if we could have something similar to an Atlantic Station here? Or something like an Avalon where we have some mixed use development? Wouldn't that make us a destination community? And that's the vision that I have, Rodney, that we become more of a destination and not a pass-through from Atlanta to Alabama, and that people will really come in and spend the economic and to continue to build up the economics here from some of the great things that we can bring in. And that's the vision that I bring and would love to lead this great community, and specifically District 3. And finally, Rodney, I've had a chance to travel. I get a chance to go and to see different municipalities, talk to different leaders on the municipal, the state, and federal level. So I have great ideals, and some of the things is not rocket science. We don't have to start things over. And we can start doing and looking at our comprehensive plans and development and start looking, how do we foresee this great community growing within the next 3, 5, 10, 25 years? And let's bring in decision makers. Let's bring in consultants. Let's bring in leaders that can give us that input, that we can make informed decisions, and we can do the bidding of our community and those of our residents, and not only for District 3, but also for Douglas County as a whole. And finally, work with the city of Douglasville. Let's collaborate. Let's partner. Let's sit down at the table, and let's not continue to work in silos, but let's partner and leverage the opportunities and the skill sets that both entities bring. And let's ensure that we're maximizing potential for leadership and for development and for opportunities for our residents and our citizens to improve their lives here in Douglas County.
Thank you for that, Martin. And I would add that, like you said, it's going to take, I think, District 3 probably of all of the districts. Well, I'm not sure which district has much of the city limit in it, but I know that, District 3 has a fair share, of, being inside the city limits. And so, yeah, it's going to take, the leadership in the city talking with the county leadership. And I think that what I want personally, I haven't been in District 3 as long as you have, next week will be 15 years for me being in District 3. Yes, sir. And I, like so many other residents of District 3, Martin, I really do want a leader going into this seat, understanding and knowing that there is an agenda. There is an agenda. I don't even know if it's hidden. I was going to say hidden agenda, but it seems like it's in plain sight. When you are putting Waffle Houses next to $800,000 homes, $900,000 home, $1 million home, you got a Dollar General. That is not hidden no more. That is no dog whistle.
Yeah, totally agree. That is absolutely blatant. And that's something that that's something that I would do as a city and county commissioner to ensure that that's not allowed. That, again, does not make economic sense. That from a short-term and long-term projection is not the direction that we're looking to drive District 3. And as you indicated, District 3 is the housing stock. This is the bedrock of Douglas County. So we're going to ensure that any type of development, any type of initiatives is going to help stabilize and to ensure that this community is built and the economic viability is maintained and growth opportunities are maintained here for the long term for District 3. So certainly under this administration and under my leadership in District 3, you can ensure that not only are we looking at short and long-term goals and growth opportunities, but I want to hear from you. I have an open door policy, and I want to ensure that your voice will be at the table as well. Oh, one moment, please. Sorry, Rodney's calling. Rodney.
Hey, Mark, stand by. We had a
power surge come through.
Okay.
But I'm getting back on.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Be on in a second.
Okay. And for those that's listening, that was Rodney. They had a power surge that occurred, so momentary outage, but we will be right back on momentarily. So thank you for listening. Thank you for paying attention. And one of the other initiatives that I definitely also want to include is that as I'm going around and as I'm talking to the community, one of the things that I want to ensure is that we're going to take your input and some of the things and initiatives that you want to see, such as improved lighting, such as driveways or sidewalks. We're going to do everything we can, and I'm going to take that under my leadership to ensure that we get the funding and splash funding to the voters for you to approve so that those types of infrastructures are going to be implemented, and we're going to hold developers and those that's coming into this community feet to the fire, and we're not going to let them off. We're going to ensure that they deliver what they have promised and what they said that they would deliver. So under my leadership, under my jurisdiction, you will ensure that that is going to occur, and I want you to hold me accountable for that. So with that, we'll give Rodney a few minutes to join back on this.
Okay, Martin, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, and I've been talking
okay, great.
here, so...
Yeah, you know what? I was able to hear. I was able to hear on the live stream. Yes, I was able to hear, and you did an outstanding job filling that dead time. I don't even. You did such a good job. We might not even edit it out. But yeah, man. The whole entire thing went down in my house and in my home studio and whatever. And but hey, we are back on. I think everything is good. Actually, I think I almost know what happened, but I'm not going to bore people with that. That being said, but yeah, I was able to hear you on the live stream. The live stream continued. It looked like it continued to go, and so I'm like, boy, look at Martin. That's I have to get him. have to have him as a co-host. He did it. But anyway, Martin, let's get back into it. I know people have stuff to do and got places to go. I think when we ended, I was just kind of reiterating some of the things that you had said. So we would just move right into the next kind of area here for the viewers, the followers of the round table. And the next topic, Martin, that again, I've heard you talk about this topic before as well, but it is affordable housing and all the other names that they try. This is from the residents of District 3. Affordable housing and all the other cute names they try to call it. This is what I got it right here in my notes. They're not really hearing that. But what I will say is this: is that look, diversity is key. Mm-hmm. Diversity is key, mm-hmm. and diversity in housing is key as well. Now, I understand that when you invest a lot of money mm-hmm. Into your residence. You expect you do not want for things to bring that property value down.
Right. And
some of the communities in Douglasville, Douglas County that are in District 3, they're getting to that, like you said, you've been there for 28 years. They're getting into that, they're getting close to these 30-year mortgages that they have done, and they're getting ready to pay off their homes, or they're at least more than halfway over, paying off their homes. And now it's like, okay, you bringing all this stuff in to bring down the property value. And so I got it. But I just want for you to know before you go into that is that I am one of the residents in District 3 who believes that, it's okay to have some apartments and those kind of things, because you do need the demographics of the youth, the 30-somethings and even the 20-somethings, especially the professional 30-something and 20-somethings, because they keep the place vibrant. They don't make it an old sleepy town and that kind of thing. And like you alluded to a little bit earlier, Martin, when you talked about there are some residents who want to keep Douglasville back in the Stone Ages, yeah. Back in the 80s and stuff when it was known for different things. So, but yeah, talk about housing a little bit, apartments, affordable homes, and let's hear your thoughts on that.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, because When you hear the term affordable housing, I think there's a negative connotation of Section 8 or public housing or
Right.
subsidized housing. And that's not what we're talking about here in District 3. When we're talking about affordable housing, as I'm going around and talking to residents, what I'm hearing is that, hey, my taxes have gone up so much in the last 3 or 4 years that now my house note, my monthly note is pretty high. And it's now almost unaffordable to the point now that they don't need to make some real hard decisions. So when I'm talking about affordable housing, I want to talk about keeping things such as taxes at bay. And let's just talk a little bit about property taxes because I know that's a sore subject. So I know I'm going to get some tight jaws in this, but I think we need to hear this.
Yes, sir.
So I used to sit on the Board of Assessors, and the Board of Assessors helps to ensure that commercial and residential property values are assessed, and they're assessed fairly. What has happened in Douglas County until we, in this current board, and the board that I served on, got involved is that for many years, commercial properties were not paying their fair share of taxes here in Douglas County. So under our leadership and as the vice chair, we made changes and we implemented an evaluation process whereby now commercial property is no longer being undervalued and that these developers or these individuals that own commercial property are going to be held to their feet to the fire to pay their fair share of taxes. So with that said, also the State Department, the State of Georgia Department of Revenue has metrics. There's ratios that every county, all 159 counties, must follow and must be in compliance. If you're not in compliance with that tax ratio, you will not get your digest cut. If your digest is not approved, a tax bill does not go out on July 1st for taxes to be then collected by a tax commissioner. And let's talk about what the taxes pay for. I think there's a misnomer that taxes all go and revenue all comes to the city of or to the county of Douglas, but it doesn't. Your tax revenues are split out among some of the smaller municipalities, including Villa Rica, City of Douglasville, Still, as well as the Douglas County School Board, and then Douglas County government. So we have to consider those taxes that are collected are then split out, and guess what? The cost of goods and services also increase. So again, when we talk about public-private partnerships, as a county commissioner, we're going to look at, and I'm going to look at, what are the contracts saying? To ensure that we're holding developers, that we're holding those that's coming in to the community, holding their feet to the fire, and that they're doing what is stipulated in the contracts. That we're ensuring that bids are going out and that we're getting good rates, market rates for bids. And if we have to do some initial analysis, we would do that. But I'm going to ensure that your tax dollars are spent correctly and properly as you have elected us to ensure that those do. And with that, we're hoping that we'll be able to reduce some of the costs of residential taxes to bring it into an affordable component, and that those that are currently paying some of the higher taxes now will get some additional breathing room so that they're not on the edge or potentially one payment away from being in jeopardy of losing their housing. So I want to ensure when we talk about affordable housing, that's the area that we're talking about. That's the component we're talking about. And District 3 is the single family household bedrock of Douglas County. This is the single family growth. So with that, we also want to ensure that code enforcement is coming in and ensuring that properties are cleaned up, the grass is cut. I keep hearing about trash and debris on some of our major roadways. So we want to ensure, and as a county commissioner, I will ensure that in District 3 that roads are clean, trash is picked up, the grass is cut, is mowed, because guess what? That's going to help to maintain great property value and entice great type of opportunities and businesses to come into this housing community into this very, very wonderful district to do great things on the short and long term for District 3 and Douglas County as a whole. So, Rodney, thank you for bringing up about affordable housing, and I hope I've kind of clarified the mention and what, when we're talking about affordable housing, what does that look like?
Yeah, thank you for that, Martin. And I was at one of the events that you were at, and I'm not sure. I can't remember whether you had an opportunity to be able to answer one of the residents in that community. But that resident, and I'm sure you're going to remember what I'm talking about. He talked a lot about sidewalks, and people may think, that sidewalks, what's the big deal, and that kind of thing. If you're very young, you don't really care about sidewalks so much because you'll just run anywhere. And when you're older, much older, you probably may not use sidewalks as much because, walking and stuff like that can get limited. But I think that this District 3 there definitely should be more, walkways, bicycle routes. And because when you look at the gym membership and the amount of people that go to the gym and do those kind of extracurricular things here in District 3, you find a lot of people right there at Fowler Field, right? And, which some work needs to be done on that with the water and the standing water and that kind of thing, right? But I know that's an engineer thing, and I know that's something that has to be, revisited. But he talked a lot about sidewalks, and of course you can expand on that however you want. But as minor as that may seem to some people, but I do want to give you that opportunity to talk about the importance of sidewalks, and that sidewalks should be an integral part of District 3, in my opinion.
Well, and I agree. And as I walk in District 3, we have a lot of sidewalks and a lot of subdevelopments and communities, so that is great. And guess what? That promotes safety. That promotes people coming out of their homes, getting to know their neighbors, talking, walking together, on bikes, etc. So there's a whole lot of positive activities and initiatives having sidewalks in the community can foster. I live in a community that does not have a lot of sidewalks. I walk 2 hours a day typically in my subdevelopment. And guess what? Most of it, some of it's on some trails, but a lot of it is on some of the city streets here. So guess what? That is a public safety issue. Yes, especially at night. I cannot tell you how many times when it's gotten dark, especially when the clocks roll back, that I'm almost having to make sure I have light clothes on, and a car is maybe within 20 yards of running up on me because it's dark and they don't see me because I'm on the side of the street walking. So one of the things we need to do is to ensure that any type of new development that comes in, any type of plan initiatives, that we hold their feet to the fire to the developers, and they ensure that they must put in these sidewalks, they must put in the infrastructure, they must have, if there's a turning lane required. We're not going to release a CO until that particular effort is completed to whole. And as I mentioned earlier on the break part, that we have to ensure that as new development and road widening activities occur, even on Chapel Hill, that we also have the infrastructure, the sidewalks, and that safety, because again, that is a public safety issue. And it's an older couple that's in my subdevelopment, and sometimes they're out walking, and they walk on Central Church over by Kroger's here in Chapel Hill Central Church, and I fear for them, because I tell them, I said, you cannot be out there walking, because not only is there no sidewalks there, but the lighting is not very good. And also you're walking in high grass. So who knows what you're potentially could be stepping on. So that is something that I will ensure that we address and come back with a strategic plan to say, we're going to do something about public safety. Sidewalks is public safety, and it also improves the quality of life. And also, guess what? It helps with our property value.
Yeah, absolutely.
It helps to ensure that we have good, safe housing that's very attractive, and sidewalks is an exceptional amenity to have in any community. In District 3, you deserve that.
Thank you for that, Martin. One thing that before we move on to the pretty much kind of the last topic is left turning lanes. Now, you spoke of turning lanes, and of course, those are the turning lanes where you get into the usually the left or right lane, and you actually go ahead on and turn. But there is throughout District 3, whether we're talking about Stewart Mill Road, where we're talking about even some places in Chapel Hill Road, those kind of places, and to get to many of the little shopping the centers, the little strip malls and whatnot, I can't tell you how many over the past 15 years illegal turns.
Yes.
Crossing solid lines to get to make a left turn into some of the. But if you don't make the illegal turn, you got to go a mile up the street or a half a mile up the street or get into traffic, turn around, at a light or whatever, and come back down and do all that kind of stuff. But those are actual illegal turns, and that happens a lot in Douglas in District 3, and I just want you to address that, and have you seen that same issue that I've seen with these illegal turns, turning on solid lines, making a left turn? That's an illegal turn as far as I know.
Absolutely. I tell you, one of the places that front of mind comes to me is right there on Chapel Hill when you pass Target, and on the left hand side is Audi's, and you'll see individuals trying to make that left turn at that first entrance there to Audi versus going down to the light and making the left turn into that area. And it's so dangerous because sometimes traffic backs up while they're waiting for someone to make a turn, and then traffic coming the opposite direction going north, they may not even know the person is turning. So I am sure that is a high incident area, and something like you say, yes, I see it. I have seen it not only there, but other parts of District 3. So one of the things that I think that needs to happen, and certainly under my administration I would see, is we got some potholes, as we used to call them back in the days, that we need to get fixed. So let's get these roads fixed. Let's get the pavement done. And then let's make sure that they're illuminated. So you'll see some really bright lines. So the lines are very clear, and they're very marked in the sense that anyone can see them day or night. Some of the pavements are so dark, they're just black, and at night it's very, very dangerous, and it's very easy to go off of these pavements. So I want to ensure that the stripping and the line, even on the sides of these newly paved roads, have that yellow stripe going all the way down, even on the sides there, as well as making a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn. So we definitely have some opportunity, and that's something I will work with traffic engineering to have some real serious conversations and to see what is needed. If there's some additional funds required, then let's have a conversation on what that looks like. Is that something that we'll need to have a T-Splash approved? Is that something that's in the budget that has not been expended? And bump that up. As again, that's public safety, that's public health. And I don't want to lose any lives out here on these roads unnecessarily because of line markings, or not having potholes fixed, or making illegal turns because they're not indicated correctly, and traffic engineering can help us to ensure that we continue to save lives in this great county and in District 3.
Yes, sir. And like you said, it is look, I understand that some of the roads, and I want for the Black Man's Roundtable followers to understand this if they don't. Some of the roads are city roads, some of them are county roads, state roads. I got that, but there's a lot of, city and county roads in Douglas. I mean, in District 3 that I feel that the District 3 commissioner, in partnership with the mayor, and the county, can really make that happen. We don't have, a whole lot of state roads that I know of in District 3. So I think that is something that can happen as long as the priority is there. And there is enough revenue and tax money generated, to make this happen. So it shouldn't be, much of an excuse. But we definitely look forward to that moving forward. And let's see.
And let me
yes, sir. Go ahead.
And
Mark.
I was just going to add to that. We also need to work with our state legislators, work with our state representatives and states, senators, because we can start, and we have a delegation in place where we can say these are our priorities. Help us to ensure that we get the funding from the state level, and that these budgets and these projects that we're bringing forth are financially provided for and approved at the state level. And oh, by the way, we also have grants. So we have to look at our grants management and see what grants are out there, and let's go after grants that's going to help with transportation, grants that's going to help with community development, grants that's going to help with improvements, public safety, security. So we have federal grants, there are state grants and other entities. So there's an opportunity there. And again, just staying laser focused. And again, as a 27-year resident, paying dues and taxpayer here in Douglas County, these are some things that not only do I want my constituents to have, but I want to enjoy those services and benefits as a resident here as well.
Thank you. And one of the things I know that you've talked about on the campaign trail a lot, and I know it to be true, which is that you do know a lot of the stakeholders, at the state level, at the county level. You definitely have relationships with these leaders. And so I'm telling you straight up, Martin, you know how I am. Being that I know that you know these people, being that I know that you have relationships with them, I would be the first one to look at you and say, hey, Martin, them guys, let's get them, let's do that. We talked about that a lot.
Yes. And
so, my hands tied, or Martin Raxton, it's like, these guys, let's get it done, and that I'll be the first one to stand up and talk about that. And so I think it's an asset. I think it's an asset that you know a lot of the again, a lot of the folks the decision makers who can, help out with some of the issues that we have in District 3. And if you're elected and if you're in that seat, I'm definitely looking forward to, to you utilizing that experience and that, having that in your hip pocket, if you will, to be able to bring things to District 3. So looking forward to that.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I do, I go down to the courthouse, or I go down to the State House and to the Gold Dome. So I see how bills are made. I go and sit in the chambers. I talk with our representatives. We talk about public policy and legislation. So this is not something that I have to get up to speed with. This is something I do. This is something I'm very comfortable in doing. And not only on the state level, but also on the federal level, where we can go knock on some doors, actually have an audience with our elected officials. And some of the things that I've had to do, even out on the campaign trail, is just to let the community know, hey, we have a new congressperson that now represents our beautiful district, specifically on the portion I live in, and that's Congresswoman Lucy McBeth. So we have a relationship with Congresswoman McBeth. She has a relationship, and she's going to build a relationship and a stronger relationship if elected or maintains that seat with what's going on here in Douglas County. So those are the types of opportunities, those are relationships that I bring, and it's no excuse or it's no mistake why many of these elected officials have endorsed my campaign and my candidacy for County Commissioner for District 3 based on the relationship and based on knowing that I'm able to get things done. I continue to get things done, and not only am I have a strategic vision, but also I can execute with excellence. And those are some of the initiatives and some of the things that I also bring to the table and think that makes me a very unique candidate and a great leader that would love to lead this great district.
Thank you for that, Martin. The last topic is a topic that is near and dear to me that I'm going to talk about. This is a partisan seat. It is you got to declare whether you're Democrat or Republican. Obviously, you're a Democrat. And so that being said, collectively, one of the issues or one of the, as I looked at all of the questions and concerns from the followers of the roundtable that came to me, one that kept hitting when we're talking about party specific is when Democrats, and look, I've seen this myself, when Democrats tend to get into position, get into their seats, we hear a lot of, well, can't do this, my hands tied, and that's out of, they start talking a lot of the sausage making. You know that from the national level all the way down to the local level. Mm-hmm. And look, I'm considered like an insider. Listen, I don't want to hear, look, you have people in District 3 who's paying $6,000-$7,000 in property tax. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I literally do not care, and I'm an insider and understand how policy is done, understand how legislation comes about, and I know that everybody don't understand civics. Civics can be crazy. But even someone like me who understands all that stuff, when you are paying that kind of money, okay, you do not want to hear stuff like, well, that's out of my, I can't do anything about that. I'm just county level. I'm just city level. I'm just this. And then, or they want to explain all of this sausage making. At the end of the day, here's what I know. I'm paying $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in property tax, and I don't have a sidewalk. Period. I don't care how you do it. As long as it's legal, I don't care what you do, but just do it. And sometimes the other side sometimes tend to get in there and they just like, how did that happen? How did they make that happen? And so, so what I wanted you to talk about a little bit, Martin, because it is a partisan seat, and of course, like I said, you're running on the Democratic ticket for this. What help the audience understand that that you as a District 3 commissioner, that is not something that you're going to do. Start talking about what you can't do. Start talking about the sausage making of it. But can you just address that a little bit, because it is something that is. I probably got about 11 different topics or questions on that. Although they were a little bit different. But Martin, when I tell you that is exactly what they're talking about, I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of it. I pay $7,000 in property taxes. I want this. I want lights. I want the roads. I want the left turn lanes. I want all that stuff. Could you talk about that a little bit, sir, please?
Absolutely. And as you indicated, I am a Democrat. I'm a proud Democrat, and I'm a former Democrat Party chair here in Douglas County. So just want to make sure again that was articulated. But let's talk about professionally. Professionally, in my arena, I am evaluated on accomplishments. I am evaluated on completing initiatives. As a program project portfolio manager, I have a track. I have a plan that needs to get done. And it needs to get done by certain times. There are certain tasks, certain deliverables. So that's the way I'm set up. I'm set up to complete tasks, to get things accomplished, and to have tolerance to say, if there's an issue, if there's a dependency, let's resolve it and let's keep things on the track and get them back going. So I can't make excuses for not delivering, and I hold others accountable. So I sit on the board of several nonprofit organizations. I also have founded initiative at my alma mater, a scholarship initiative to help raise money for our youth. And as part of that, it was not only is the brainchild to say, let's get a foundation. Now let's have funding mechanisms. Let's put those mechanisms in place. I had to think of that, but I'm also, as president of that organization, have to deliver on that. So I have to set goals. I have to set deliverables, and I have to do that every year. So case in point, one of the things we wanted to have was a day of giving. And we have a day of giving every year on our chapter's charter anniversary date. Regardless of the year, it's the same day every year. So our goal this year was to raise $12,000. So guess what? I had to come up with a strategy, but also share that vision with the team and to allow the team to execute. And then we look at what we were able to meet and how we were able to succeed. And this year we were able to exceed that goal because I'm in on the planning, I'm in on the execution, and then when we do best practices and do a debriefing, I'm part of that. So I say that to say that I cannot afford not to achieve and not to accomplish. I believe in being very agile. Get things in the hands to our customers as soon as possible and continue to improve on them. They may not be perfect the first time, but let's keep iterating. Let's keep growing. Let's keep developing. Let's keep tweaking it. But the sooner we can get value to our customers and to get that feedback loop going, the better all of us are going to be, because guess what? Now the customer is a part of that process, and we're all in this together. So Rodney, I cannot afford to go in here and make promises and then not deliver, because that's not the way I'm set up. That's not the way I'm built. Again, at work, I'm evaluated on my deliverables, and guess what? This will be another work. This will be another initiative where I will be evaluated on my deliverables, and that's going to be based on the confidence and the votes of the residents. And I want the residents to hold me accountable, because I held myself to a very high esteem and a high bar. So the best thing is, let's do this together, and I'm looking forward to delivering. And I think that's one of the initiatives and one of the areas that is going to be a stark contrast from myself than others that are seeking this particular position.
Thank you for that, Martin. Appreciate it, sir. And you know that you've, like I said, you've lived in District 3 even longer than I have, and you know that District 3, the people are loud and proud over here.
Yes.
And we want that to happen. We want that to keep going, because, like you said, it is the residential hub,
yes,
of Douglas County. Somewhere between 87 and 89% of the homeowners, in Douglas County live over here in District 3. And so, that being said, we want for the residents in District 3 to continue to be loud and proud, because if they stop doing that, if they stop putting the pressure on the commissioner, on the mayor, for those who live in the city limits and all that stuff, then I can guarantee you what the neighborhood, the district is going to garbage. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, with a lot of things, so goes District 3, so goes Douglas County. Absolutely. When your homeowners and everything live out here, that's a huge deal. So a lot of the county, that whole commission, depend on a lot of the strategy, a lot of the leadership that comes out of District 3. I know every district is, got their own, Douglas County is definitely one of those counties where, it has its hubs for each one of the District 1, 2, 3, and 4. And yeah, maybe do I have a little bias because I live in District 3? I don't know. But I try to be as honest as I possibly can. But I also fully understand what holds a thing, an organization together. Mm-hmm. And District 3, without the people who care about the warehouses, who care about the whatever, because it's just not going to happen that way. So I appreciate that. And the last thing, Martin, want to talk about is the, with District 3, sometimes I talk about the elephant in the room. And, the bottom line is a lot of people don't know that, Clayton County. Mm-hmm. Clayton County, and I could be wrong on the number of years, but Clayton County 30 years ago, was a predominantly white mm-hmm. County. And, white flight happens or whatever happens. And, now, Clayton County has this, I don't know, people call it Clayco and all that kind of stuff. And I believe that there are forces, mm-hmm. okay, as long as I've been here in District 3, there are forces, there are people out there that want, Douglas County to become Clayton County, and nothing against Clayton County. I'm just saying. And because of the demographics change, because of maybe the politics change a little bit, and people, there are people that reporting stuff about crime in Douglas County, District 3, that is not even happening, but it's like, hey, it's just terrible over there. And we know, like I talk about a hidden agenda, and we, even going back to what we talked about earlier with certain restaurants not being here, certain restaurants being here, certain places to shop being here, certain places to shop not being here. It all comes with that when people start to see demographics change. And before we go into you just letting the Black Man's Roundtable viewers and followers know who you are and it's crunch time and why you need their vote, I would definitely want to give you an opportunity to expound on. Now, can any of this stuff be proven? Absolutely not. But we know that it's out there. We know that it's an elephant in the room, and I definitely want you to expound on it if you so wish to, sir.
Absolutely. So, you ever heard of Prince George County?
Yes, sir.
That's what District 3 can be.
Yes, sir.
District 3 can model some of the great things that's occurring in Prince George County under the county executive, Angela Alsobrooks. There's absolutely no reason that we even have to even consider downgrading, downsizing, or being less than. Again, it starts with the vision. It starts with the mentality. And we have a proud population here, a proud community in District 3. And I am sure that District 3 will love to emulate and be more in the conversation and topics as a Prince George County, where you have a high African American household income and demographics. Douglas County, District 3 can model that. We will definitely have that mentality and stay laser focused. And when you talked about bringing in some of the high-end entities, such as some of the nice restaurants, addressing the food desert that we have here by bringing in a Whole Foods, a Sprouts, a Trader Joe's, bringing in a Papados, P.F. Chang's, Houston's, McCormick & Smith. We deserve that. That is something under my leadership and my administration that I want to ensure that's brought into this great community. And again, I want you to start thinking about District 3 as Prince George County and not as Clayco or any other county with any type of negative connotation. And that's going to be our aim and model moving forward.
Martin, I appreciate that. And look, before you said that I want you to start thinking of Douglas County as Prince George's County, I was going to tell you the moment you were finished with your statements that, brother, every time I see you, Martin, I'm going to be like, PGC. PG.
That's it.
and I think you're going to appreciate it. But look to the followers of the round table. Hey, Martin Raxton, Prince George's County, and you know what? It can happen.
Yes.
We have the disposable income for it to happen over here. There should be no reason why it shouldn't happen. Right. And I know that I'm not accepting any. I'm sick of the excuses. Mm-hmm. I'm sick of the excuses. I'm not hearing any more about why we don't have this restaurant, why we don't have this roadway, why we don't have this. And look, but yes, Prince George's County is something that we can be, something that we can aspire to. It is here. The folks are here. And so I appreciate you saying that. Prince George's County. Okay. Now, Martin, the last thing is, look, I want for you to definitely have an opportunity to talk to the Black Man's Roundtable audience, the followers. We're not many, but they are super voters just like me, sir. I can almost guarantee you that they vote. Like I said, I vote so much I felt like I missed the vote yesterday because yesterday was Tuesday. I vote so much I feel every Tuesday I'm missing the vote somewhere. But they I know exactly. They are super voters and they are engaged and they are 98% right here in Douglasville, Douglas County. And but yeah, definitely take this opportunity to let them know why they should vote for you early or why they should vote for you, I believe, on June 18th. Please proceed, sir.
All right. Well, thank you again. Um, Martin Raxton, candidate, Douglas County, District 3. I have a formal education with an undergraduate degree, a master's in public administration, and worked also on a doctorate in public administration. I worked in government in housing and community development. I worked for the IRS. I worked for housing authorities. I transitioned into the private sector. But again, we've also talked about my past working with elected officials. What I bring to the table is a passion for serving, being a public servant. And there's a stark contrast to my leadership style than that of my opponent. Again, I believe in leaving things better than where I found them. I believe in building a legacy. I believe in mentoring and bringing up the next person, the next leader that's going to take over and to take us to the next level. And you see behind me, there's some things on the wall there. These are some things that have been earned. These are not just for display, but these are certification, professional certification, degrees, things that we don't even talk about. Because what I plan to do is I continue to demonstrate. I deliver. And I look to deliver, and I do deliver with excellence. So I'm about public policy. You've heard some of the initiatives that I want to bring in District 3, and I've served in leadership. I've served either as a chair, vice chair, president, CEO, founder. So this is not new. Starting up, building, maturing organizations, and working well with others is not new. I'm not going to give you campaign promises that I can't deliver. I'm not going to give you outlandish things that are not possible and not reasonable to occur. As indicated, government does not work at the same speed as private sector. However, we can do better. And I know that there are opportunities that I'll roll up my sleeve and we're going to get some great things accomplished. Again, I love talking to the residents. I love talking to the community. I love knocking on doors. I love meeting you at the amphitheater, wherever you are, because I want to hear from you and I want to implement with excellence, and I do implement with excellence. So with my Christian beliefs, as a church member, as a regular attendance here at Elizabeth Baptist Church in Douglasville, that I've been attending for many, many years since it was first started here in Douglasville, raised 2 sons that have come through the public school system here in Douglasville. I am the very fiber of this community. And again, we deserve better. So Douglas County, I'm asking you to go out and cast your vote one more time for Martin Raxton, County Commissioner, District 3. Early voting starts on Monday, June the 10th through Friday, June the 14th at the Douglas County Courthouse at 8700 Hospital Drive. And then on June 18th at your regular voting precincts. Come out. We ask for you to come back because we have a vision. I work well with others, and I'm going to assure that we deliver, and you can be there and be assured that when you cast your vote for me, you're going to have the best person sitting in that seat representing you with excellence. Again, Douglas County, we deserve better.
Thank you for that, Martin. And we, you heard it here, okay? And we look forward to new leadership in District 3. There's new leadership that has come to the county, to the Board of Commissioners, and we want for you to get out and go to those commission meetings and get to see who the people are and hold the elected officials' feet to the fire. So look, Martin, we appreciate you, sir, and I know either way you're not going to be a stranger to the Black Man's Roundtable. You're not a stranger,
Right.
and so we look forward to that. If you are in that seat on or as I know you guys like to say, when you're in that seat, when you're in that seat, you best believe that the Black Man's Roundtable is going to, hey, call you back on. Martin, let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. And yes, District 3, a little bit near and dear to my heart, but I'll talk to all the district the commissioners, and you know that. Yes. But hey, this is the hub, as far as I'm concerned, of the county, and this is the main hub, if you will. This is where the money flows through and out and in and all that stuff. And so we really understand the importance of District 3, and I know that the followers of the Black Man's Roundtable understand the importance of District 3. So get out there and vote. That being said, again, Martin, we appreciate you. We appreciate your candid conversation and your honesty. And hey, until next time, we will see you in them streets and them suites. Peace.
All right. Thank you.
Don't forget to check us out on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Do you have show ideas or want to be on the show? Shoot us an email at blackmansroundtable@gmail.com. And please follow us on Facebook.
1,